Hello, my name is Brendan, and this is All Music is Folk Music. This is video 3 in my series making a patch a day on the Arturia Microfreak. Once again, at the end of the month, I'm hoping to get all of these patches available for download, probably via Gumroad, maybe for about $5. We shall see. So far, I've made a pad and a little plucky ARP sound. I think I'm going to switch things up today. As always, I'm going to roll to see what our starting oscillator is going to be. So let's see. 19, which is not an oscillator. 1. All right. We're just going to go with the default basic wave sound, which conveniently we are already on. I'm just going to turn my mic up slightly. There we go. So let's get things started. So I've made a pad, I've made a pluck. I have a couple options as far as new types of sound I could make. I think I might go with sort of a brassy sound. Sort of a pad that, quickly comes in and is not nearly as long as a traditional pad is, maybe used in sort of like future style sounds. So I'm going to just set up the basic envelope for that, which is going to be a bit of a slow attack, pretty short decay, pretty short release, and drop off the sustain fairly substantially. Let's hear what that sounds like. We'll get the filter going on that. Let's get paraphonic mode going. Or actually, you know what? I think I might make use of something I talked about in a video I just uploaded, which is the Unison Settings. So let's go ahead and get Unison started. You can check out my video, which is about Unison mode on Microfreak for more info on what exactly I'm doing. But I'm going to set it to 3 voices. And let's go ahead and get, let's see what we want. Yeah, I like that. Nice. Let's get a bit of glide going as well, and I'm also just going to get some other settings going here. I'm going to turn on envelope legato for now. We'll see if we end up using that. Press mode I'm going to set to velocity, and glide mode I'm going to set to sync so that I can get it synced up to whatever I'm playing. So I have it set to a 16th now. Nice. Okay, so let's start diving into some of the parameters here. So we have the morph on the basic waves, which is going to determine what the waveform is going to be. Maybe we can have that set to the press, so that the more that I press down, that's going to go up. So I'm going to set that to around 40 to hear what it sounds like. I like that because it sort of shifts over time to a more bright, brassy sound. Which I think is pretty fitting for this sort of brass patch. I'm going to set that even up to 60, a bit more of an extreme effect. Nice. So the other options that we have as far as the oscillator is concerned, we have a sub that we can mix in. But for this patch, I think that gets it a little bit too muddy, especially because we already have 3 notes being played as is. So I think I like sort of the cleanliness of keeping it sub-free. And we also have this little sim option here, which I believe is sort of like a pulse width modulator. Don't quote me on that, but it does sort of alter the general timbre of the sound. I think I might want to map that to the envelope so that it sort of goes up as the filter and the amplitude do, and then back down again. So let's see what that sounds like. We got it set fairly high, let's say 50 just to start to see how it sounds. I think that might be a bit too much. Yeah, back down to something around 25. Seems to be working pretty well for this. One thing I'm thinking about is maybe just having the key tracking set to the cutoff so that things can be a little bit darker lower down and brighten up as we get higher in pitch. So I'm just going to set that up in the matrix over here. Scroll down to key arp and cutoff, and let's set that to about 50. Nice. Let's get a bit of resonance going on that filter as well. I'm going to set to around 40%. Actually, you know what? I think this would be a great thing to set up to the pressure, or to the velocity rather. So what we can do is we can just assign, I know that we're not going to be using this sub, which is this third VCO parameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just assign this here to the resonance filter, or the resonance knob rather. And I'm just going to bring press right over into that column. So it's now press to assignable knob 1, which is set to resonance. And I'm going to set that to about, let's say 50 to start. So now the higher the velocity, the more resonance there will be on that filter. And we can hear what that sounds like. Here's with a fairly low velocity. Here's with a higher. Nice. So far, I like the way that this is sounding. I think one thing that I might want to add is some sort of an LFO, either on the cutoff or maybe the pitch. So let's go ahead and just get that started. Map the LFO. Let's say to the cutoff. We'll hear how that sounds to start. I think that sounds pretty good. I really only want it to come in sort of at the tail end here. Once we're down to just sort of the sustain part of the envelope. So a couple ways we can do that. I think the easiest is just to use another one of these assignable knobs here so that the envelope is controlling the depth of this parameter. So I'm just going to delete that parameter for right now. I'm going to remember that I had it set to around 5. And I'm going to go ahead and click here. So now envelope will be setting this parameter here, which is the LFO cutoff. And I'm going to go back to right here where I assigned that parameter. And I'm going to set that to, I believe it would be to -5, because I want it to be inversely affecting it, right? So I want, when it's higher, there's going to be less of a change to that. We'll see. Maybe I'll increase it slightly to see if we can hear that more. Nice. And one more thing I think might be fun is if maybe this is sort of an effect where as we're holding it for longer, and I'll increase the sustain slightly so we can hear that a little more. Maybe as the sound goes on, maybe the frequency of that sort of dipping, the frequency of the LFO, increases. So we'll start maybe at, let's say, like a quarter pulse. And it increases as the sound goes on. So what we can do then is we can have one last assignable knob here. We can set that to the rate, the division of the that LFO. And I think I want to have just a cycling envelope set up to control that. So I'll set this to an envelope mode. And basically what we're looking for is, over time, it's just going to ramp up. And we'll fine tune exactly how quickly we want that rise time to occur. I'm going to set it to around 2 seconds for now. Set that to 100%. And we'll just go to the mod matrix and make that connection. So I'm going to set that to around, let's say 20. Hear how this sounds. Okay, so I'm hearing two things. One is that, and let me make this effect a bit more pronounced. Set it to around 20 in that envelope to the LFO cutoff connection, so that we can really hear. So I'm hearing two things. One is that I think this is coming in a little bit too slowly. Let's bring it to around 1.5 seconds. And the other is that I would like it to sort of reach a faster frequency by the end of it. So I'm just going to go back up here. Let's try bringing this up to around 40. Here's how that sounds. And of course, we can use the amount knob. Sort of as it's going, to sort of map that on the fly. So let's say, and I'll get a bit of effects on now to liven this sound up a bit. I think that can add some nice sort of performance effects onto here. And of course, if you wanted that to be an especially pronounced effect, then we could have, let's say, like 30 for this or something. And we could even, if we wanted to, we could have, let's say, we erase this connection for now, and we make it so just the cycling envelope is controlling both the depth of that LFO cutoff and the frequency. So then this knob is basically a one-size or a one-stop shop that'll, without it, there's no LFO, and then I think that's a bit cleaner. So I think I will stick with that of now having sort of just one knob. That controls both the intensity and the frequency. So I think that's pretty much the end for this patch. I think it's sounding pretty nice. I might even, maybe I'll just map some timbre to the cycling envelope as well for good measure. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. So I think this is a pretty nice sounding brass patch. I'm going to go ahead and name it. I had the thought that I could just keep a tiny dictionary near me to help me with my naming paralysis. And I'm going to go with Musk for this. I think that's a reasonably good, as good a name as any. So let's go ahead and put it as a brass. Beautiful. And that's another patch done. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you join me again for tomorrow, where I will make a whole new kind of patch. Who knows? We've got pad, pluck, and brass at this point. Maybe a lead, maybe a bass. We'll see. But I hope you tune in. Have a good day.